In the heart of the Middle East, a tinderbox ignites once more. The conflict between Israel and Hamas has escalated, leaving a trail of devastation and a world on edge. The recent events have seen an alarming increase in violence, with Israeli airstrikes and rocket attacks from Palestinian militants. These actions have resulted in a significant death toll and extensive damage. The Israeli military has targeted numerous sites, including rocket launching sites, weapons manufacturing facilities, and a tunnel. In response, Islamic Jihad has fired over 700 rockets. The situation has further escalated, with Israel implementing a complete siege of Gaza, cutting off essential supplies and raising the potential for a ground invasion. Over 1,000 people have lost their lives in the attacks, with the true cost of the conflict yet to be calculated. As the world watches anxiously, the question arises, what are the geopolitical implications of this escalating conflict? The ripples of this conflict extend far beyond the borders of Israel and Gaza. Allies are drawn in, relationships strained, and global tensions heightened. As the situation escalates, the relationships between Israel and its allies are put under the microscope, particularly that with the United States. The US has long been a staunch supporter of Israel, but the intensity of this conflict raises questions. Could we see the United States sending additional support to their ally in the Middle East? It's a possibility that cannot be ruled out, but the reverberations of this conflict are felt beyond the immediate vicinity. Take, for instance, the ongoing invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The Israeli-Hamas conflict could influence the situation, with allegations already surfacing that Russia is providing weapons to Hamas. This adds another layer of complexity to an already convoluted geopolitical scenario. Closer to home, the war has the potential to create rifts within the U.S. political landscape. Democrats in Congress could find themselves divided over the issue. The conflict poses a challenge to the party's unity, forcing members to grapple with their personal and political beliefs. Across the Atlantic, the Irish government's condemnation of Israel's de facto annexation of Palestinian land has sent shockwaves through the European Union. This is the first time an EU government has used such language in relation to Israel, marking a potential shift in the bloc's stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The geopolitical landscape shifts with every rocket launched, every building destroyed. But what of the economic fallout? War is a costly affair, not just in lives lost, but in economic terms. The Israeli-Hamas conflict threatens to send shockwaves through global markets. Let's take a moment to consider the potential economic impacts of this conflict. To start with, the price of oil is a major concern. As tension escalates, it's reasonable to expect a surge in oil prices. This could be a significant blow to global economies still recovering from the fallout of the pandemic. It could also complicate the Federal Reserve's ongoing battle with inflation. Now let's turn our gaze to the local economies of Israel and Gaza. The cost of war here is twofold. First, there's the immediate financial burden of military expenditure. Then comes the long-term economic damage. Infrastructure, once the backbone of a functioning economy, lies in ruins. Homes, schools, hospitals, roads. The cost of rebuilding these is astronomical. But there's more. Think of the small businesses that have been destroyed, the jobs that have been lost, the disruption to trade and commerce. These are not just numbers on a balance sheet. They represent people's livelihoods, their hopes and dreams. In Gaza, where the economy was already on the brink, the impact is particularly devastating. The economic toll of this conflict extends beyond the borders of these two regions. It ripples out, affecting economies around the world. Every nation that depends on oil, every business that relies on stability in the Middle East, every investor who fears the uncertainty of war, they all bear the burden. As the conflict rages on, the world braces for the economic aftershocks. Will peace return, or will the cycle of violence continue? In this volatile corner of the world, the future remains uncertain. The world watches, waits, and hopes for a resolution. The potential for a ceasefire flickers on the horizon, an elusive promise of peace. The tireless efforts of international mediators and negotiators are key in this high-stakes chess game, their roles pivotal in steering this conflict towards a peaceful resolution. In the midst of uncertainty, the importance of global unity and intervention cannot be overstated. As we continue to monitor this evolving situation, remember to stay informed, stay engaged, and subscribe for more updates on this and other pressing global issues.